Hey guys, Cam here from today's iPhone.com, and I have a rather unique Logitech keyboard case for the iPad here. This is the FabricSkin Folio. Now, you may have seen other Logitech keyboard cases in the past, and they're all pretty much designed to be efficient, slim, professional. They're all quite industrial, made out of metals and plastic, but the FabricSkin, as the name implies, is covered in fabric. It's more for the design conscious of you. Now these will set you back $149.99 in the States, or $129.99 UK British pounds. They're available in a few different colours, 5 I believe. This is obviously the black and the white one. Now if we look around the outside, you can see that it does just look like a regular folio. It's got the usual fabric backing on it. It's got a cutout for the camera here. You can see that there. And then the actual iPad itself is held in place by a plastic shell. But if I open it up, this is where it gets kind of interesting. You can see that we have a keyboard, and this case almost turns your iPad into a Microsoft Surface, because the keyboard isn't like your usual button keypad. All the buttons are covered in fabric, which is kind of neat. It takes a little while to get used to, but it does look really slim, looks very stylish. And what it's got a couple of different magnets. It's got one here at the end and one here. Now if I put this one on here, it'll automatically switch on. You might be able to see there's a little green light that turns blue. That's now connected to my iPad, and it automatically starts to work. So if, for instance, I wanted to type a note, I could go into my Notes app, and you could see the mess that my 3-year-old daughter has made. But anyway, so I can type a note. Hi, how are you? Now for touch typists, you're not going to take a long time to get used to this. You may have to, it'll take a little bit of adjustment to get used to the fact that all the buttons are virtually flush. But you can definitely feel the mechanism underneath the fabric layer, so there is that. It's not all touch sensitive by any means. There are still mechanical switches underneath all these buttons. Because it's made of fabric, it's very flexible, so if you don't want to have it in the typing angle like so, you can simply rest it on the front, and you've got a very comfortable viewing angle. If you get fed up with the FabricSkin keyboard, I guess you could switch to using the on-screen one again, but for watching videos and browsing the web and all that kind of stuff, then you can just switch it back to this angle. Look at the actual shell that's holding the iPad. It's a very snug fitting plastic shell, but it is a flexible-ish material. It's a kind of very stiff silicone / rubber. And it's got these kind of angled edges on it, which do remind me, like I said before, that it reminds me a lot of the Microsoft Surface. It's got cutouts obviously for your ports and your speakers, and it does hold very well. Now this case actually does have something of a hidden gem. Any area that's got any kind of fabric on it has actually been coated with a liquid resistant coating, so if you get it in the rain, or if you spill a drink, or if you're drooling over your next iDevice purchase on the web, you can be sure that your keyboard is protected. Now, I would never go as far to say as it was waterproof entirely, because there is an exposed port here, and if you get any water in that, that's going to do some damage. So don't go throwing it in swimming pools. But what it does is it ensures that your stylish and useful keyboard is not only good looking, it will also hopefully last the test of time. I've only had it for a couple of weeks. I've been using it on and off, and I've been completely happy with using it. The only negative, I guess, for me is that I don't like to have my iPad sat so close to the top row of keys. It kind of cramps my style a little bit. I'd rather, like the Belkin I reviewed the other week, I'd rather if it had various different angles here. Now, although that stands up in that angle perfectly fine, because it's not connected to the super magical magnet at the front, the keyboard switches off and disconnects from your iPad, so it won't work that way. So you literally have one angle for typing. But anyway, it's a really interesting case, and it's not something that I would say don't buy. If you want something that looks really stylish, really minimal, sleek, definitely go for it. It's a fantastic keyboard, although personally I prefer the more industrial kind of metal ones with the proper keys. This is a very good alternative, especially if you're a little bit design conscious. They're available to order from Logitech.com. Last time I checked, they're available in the States, but they're out of stock in the UK. But go ahead, go and check them out in more detail. I'll post this video in with a more in-depth review article fully written on today'siphone.com, so be sure to check that out, and I will see you again soon.